Go ahead and record. Beautiful. Hi, Mandy. Hello, dear. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Let's just go ahead and go in a circle and share any celebrations that we have today before we get into the content. I feel like Mandy wants to share first. She's like, what?
Hey everyone. Happy what day of the week is it right now?
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Let's see. Celebrations. If I'm honest, it's been a really rough week actually. But I woke up this morning, meditated and worked out, which felt really good. And I have some baby goats that are due this weekend, so it's kind of a nerve-wracking time. But yeah, happy to be here. That's my kind of my celebration.
You're happy to just be here in existence.
Be here in this space with all of you lovely folks for sure.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm sorry you had a hard week, but I'm sure it was full of realizations and
Yeah, no, it was good. We've been to Minnesota and back for a funeral, so it was kind of crazy.
holding you in our hearts.
Thank you.
Jenna.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Mandy, I am with you. It has been a crazy week for me as well, and traveling as well. I am celebrating. I'm hosting a women's retreat for the first time this weekend, and it was supposed to be a co-host event, but my co-host had to back out at the last minute. So I have taken on the whole event. And I've just kind of put myself into that and, let everyone know. And I'm feeling really good about it. So I'm excited about wherever this path is taking me. And that's truly how I feel. I feel like I'm not taking this path, it's taking me. So, yeah.
Beautiful. And I know how much you wanted to do retreats. So, like, you're just getting taken right there. Amazing. Let us know how we can support you in your retreats and whatever.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually was really inspired by your beet hummus. So you're already inspiring.
Oh, yeah. You got to make that. That's great for retreats.
Yes. Perfect.
Awesome. Okay. David.
Hi, guys. Sorry about your loss, Mandy. Let's see. My self-care this week was about contacting relatives. Just got off the phone with a cousin in Michigan. I haven't spoken to her in about a decade. So I'm going to celebrate that conversation. That went really well. And I want to celebrate a little bike ride today, which was, I just sort of kind of felt like a childhood bike ride or something with nothing to do except pedaling around in the streets in the sunshine. So it was a nice bike ride. I'm going to celebrate that.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's good for coming from you. That's good.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Bike rides are good to amp up your excitement, remember?
Yes.
David needs excitement.
I used to bicycle a lot more, and in the last couple of years I haven't. So getting on my bicycle is a big deal.
We support you in that. Beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
So I was just re-watching our call from last week, and I know none of you were there due to different things going on. Autumn was there, and we got really in depth with spices. So if you got a chance to listen to the call, I went through about from A to Z of different spices and their medicinal benefits and the doshas they're associated with, and the churnas, which are medicinal spice blends for your dosha, and the recipes attached with that. So if you haven't had a chance to tune into that, I highly recommend that if you want to get a little bit more acquainted with, we organized our pantry, we made everything look really minimalistic, and then we really are learning about what's in those jars, what do those things do, and how can they affect our health and be our medicine. So if you haven't found time to do that, I highly recommend that. Today, we're going to get more into medicine making and actual Ayurvedic medicines, more so than just, I'm going to have some individual herbs, but these are going to be more medicines versus cooking. So I'm not going to be talking about cumin and coriander and things like that. I'm going to be getting a little more zoned into the Ayurvedic medicines, which I think you'll find really beautiful. So I would love to have it more of a discussion. I know I would challenge everyone in here to ask one question throughout the class, just to see if, just maybe say, I don't understand that, or how can I do that? Or where do I buy that? Or whatever can come up for you. But I think that you'll find that the beauty of Ayurvedic medicine is just getting into your relationship with plants and herbs even more than we've already dove in. So I really hope you enjoy this, and I would love to make it interactive with you guys. You're probably gonna be inspired to go do something afterward, or that'll definitely be in the homework. I have a lot of really great cooking demos, videos that you can watch this week. One from myself, one from another Ayurvedic chef, and then another video about onions and garlics and the spirituality behind that. So there's a little bit of video stuff, content to watch after this class. And then we'll each make a different medicine this coming week, an Ayurvedic medicine, and using a different Ayurvedic technique to make the medicine there, because there's 14 different ways to make Ayurvedic medicines. So we're going to go over 7 of those today, and then go over a handful of different medicines. So I'm super excited to share this with you. Some of you will be familiar with some of this stuff. Some of you will be like, whoa, what is that? And so that's why we're doing this. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. And of course it's recorded, and I'm going to go ahead and start if you guys are okay with that. Oops, whoops. Okay, 1, 2, 3, here we go. And share screen. And now I lost it. Whoa. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, so does anyone know what what energetics means of an herb? Like, what does that mean? Energetics. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think energetics?
What it's going to release in the body, what it'll help with in the body.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of them. Yeah. I'm going to go over all of them, but that's one of them. So what it's going to release. So that would be what we call the post effect.
Mm.
Post effect of the herb is an energetic.
What it has, its potential is it's energetic.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, yeah.
What it does to the body is an energetic. The temperature of the herb is an energetic.
Mm.
The warming, the cooling, the hot, the pungency, those are all energetics of an herb. So we want to be able to get to know the energetics of an herb, right? Or a medicine, so we know what it's going to do to us, right? When we know the energetics of cilantro is it's got a cooling energetic, right? So we'd want to know that if we're super kapha and really damp and have a lot of wet, moist, cooling energy already. So when we learn the energetics of herbs, it's like kind of like learning the energetics of food. but this is more on a medicinal standpoint. So there's going to be way more energetics, and I'm going to go over all those today. So I love this photo. It's like this woman with all these plants and like bugs, and it's just like she is us and we are it. And I think it's a beautiful representation of how we can use medicines and we can use plants and herbs and food to really create our own existence, to create our own living, thriving existence. And I
I
love
think
this
we're
photo.
seeing a picture.
You're not seeing it?
Yeah,
Really?
Jenny, I'm seeing a checklist.
A
Yeah.
checklist? Wait. What? Okay, hold on. What happened?
I want to see the pretty picture.
Can you see it now?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
you guys can see my
Yeah.
checklist.
You're
I hope
busy.
you liked it. Yeah. I'm busy. I'm one of those checklist people. Okay, so isn't she beautiful though?
Beautiful.
Yeah. I really like this photo because we are this. If we take these plants and medicines in, we can become this. So I'm going to get a little spiritual on you guys just for a second before we get into this, but the manifestation of consciousness into the herbs, into the plants, that woman that we were looking at just before, that's, I like to use the quote, within each thing is contained all things, right? So when you look at the leaf on the desk of your plant, on the plant on your desk with the plant, that is you and we are it. So when we start looking at things like we are equal to all the plants and animals in the planet, we can get a deeper, we can get deeper realizations within these creatures and these plants. So it is only when we look at things as human that we are capable of truly human existence. Such a lesson is taught to us by plants and herbs whose existence is still grounded in the unity of nature, through which we may return to understand ourselves better. So I truly believe that, we all have these doshas, like Jenna might be Vata today, and she's super airy and spacey and has a little bit of anxiety. And I'm not putting that on you, Jenna, but she's got air and space flowing within her, right? And so does the plant, so does the cactus. The cactus is in a desert and it's hot, and it's got more pitta within it. So do the plants. Man is microcosm, contains within himself all the elemental, mineral, vegetal, and animal kingdoms. So just imagine that you are connected deeply to the earth. We are not separate. We really aren't. Plant equals human. Within the plant is the potential of a human. Within the plant is the underlying energy structure of a plant. So I really love all this as we get deeper into the spirituality and energetics of herbalism. So why do we have herbal medicines? Like, why would we pick up an herb rather than take Advil? What's your viewpoint on that? Anybody have a viewpoint on that?
I think the transition from medicines into the human body are a lot smoother if they're an herbal base versus a synthetic base.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. They're us, right? Just what I'm stemming from is they are us. So here I say that herbal medicines are an integral part of nature. They help protect and increase the biodiversity of our ecosystem. They're a valuable part of the human relationship with nature and enhance our connection with the planet. And what's surprising is up to 80% of the world's population depends on herbal medicine as their primary form of medicinal healthcare. So like if you were going to India or maybe Southeast Asia, they're going to naturally use these medicines. Whereas we live in more of a synthetic, right? We live in more of a synthetic medicinal system or matrix, I like to say. So they offer benefits in the form of traditional medical systems and shamanic healing systems, right? I meant to say traditional folk systems and shamanic healing systems. They offer spiritual benefits as guides and symbols of power, and they protect the indigenous cultural values and promote cultural integrity, Having a knowledge of local herbal medicines promotes cultural uniqueness, respect, and value, right? So you go to these villages and they're like honoring the plants, right? They have the aloe and they honor it. They sing songs to it, right? We don't do that. I don't know what happened, but we've lost that ceremonial connection to Mother Earth's abundance. And so we can totally bring that back within ourselves, even though we're not, bowing and bowing to, the rain and the wind and celebrating that. We can bring that within ourselves. We can activate that. And I really want to help you do that. To help you remember that when it's raining, it can be such a spiritual, beautiful experience. So the energetics, I'm going to come back to the energetics of medicines. Now, this is strictly Ayurveda. When you read these, you're only going to get this in an Ayurvedic text. If you were to read Chinese medicine, they probably have their own energetics, but there are 7 energetics. And this is really important. I think what we'll do for homework is I'll have everyone research a medicine and they're going to write down the energetics of the medicine. So the first one, which we know about, we've already studied this, I think we've gone over this, is the rasas, right? We've talked about the rasas. Those are the different tastes. So pungent, salty, bitter, astringent, sweet. I forget, I'm missing one, but you guys know the 6 tastes, right? So first we have that. When we put the herb in our mouth, we have the taste. Then we have the virya, which is the energy of it. Does it have a subtle energy? Does it have a strong energy like neem or cayenne? And then the vipaka, which is what David said, this is the post-digestive effect. What is going to happen in your body after you digest it? Then we have the guna, which is the quality. The quality is dry, light, mobile, hot, wet. That's the guna. The guna is the quality of the medicine. Then there's the dosha or the dasha. They call it the dasha, which is the effect. The effect within the whole scheme of the body. Then we have the dhatu, which is the tissues that it's affecting. Is it affecting a specific organ? Is it affecting your skin? Is it affecting your brain? What area of the body is it affecting? And then we have the shrotas, which in Ayurveda, there's different channels in the body, similar to the meridians, like in Chinese medicine. We have channels, which are called shrotas in Ayurveda. So we have all these different energetics of the medicines that I believe are so important to know when you start studying these plants. You could do this for, the basil plant outside in your pot. You could do this really on anything. So I think this is important to know, and we'll do a little exercise with this outside of class, but outside of the session. Does anyone have any questions about that so far?
Mm-mm.
Okay. We're going to move on to one of my favorite Ayurvedic medicines, which is called Shatavari. Has anybody heard of that?
No.
Okay, so Shatavari is, look at it. It's really cool looking. It's like a gazillion carrots in one. It's like a gazillion white carrots in one. It's got kind of like a fennelly, airy topper, you can see. And I have here the doshas that it affects. So on the top it says PV, pacifying, and kapha, aggravating. So this one's going to pacify or balance pitta and vata, but it's going to aggravate kapha dosha. So we would want to make sure that we're using it appropriately with each dosha. This one has a beautiful quote: "The one who possesses 100 husbands, as its tonic and rejuvenative action on the female reproductive organs, it is said to give capacity to 100 husbands." So you can tell what this one's for. Now, ashwagandha is like the masculine male reproductive herb. Shatavari is the feminine reproductive herb. So they can imagine them as like king and queen, right? They both help feminine and masculine energy. So actions: debility in female organs, sexual debility, infertility, impotence, menopause, diarrhea, dysentery, and stomach ulcers. Ayurvedic rejuvenative for a female, as ashwagandha for a male. So if you're having maybe issues down there as a male, you would take ashwagandha. Shatavari is going to help females down there. You can also use it as an emollient. If you rub it on your skin for stiff joints, stiff neck, and muscle spasms, it soothes and calms the vata dosha as well. Each one of these slides, you guys, I'm going to list how to take this herb too, because I think that's important that you know, how would I recommend my mom to take this, or how am I going to take this, or what the hell do I do with that giant plant right there on that photo? So I want to make it easy for you to understand how to be able to experience this plant. Also, it increases milk, semen, and nurtures the mucous membranes, nourishes and cleanses the blood, great for menopause, and increases fertility, aids in love and devotion. So this is such a beautiful feminine plant. I love the name of it too. It's so like Indian, Shatavari. So here below, I have a few ways you can take it. You can take 3 grams of this powder in warm milk or warm almond milk, sweetened with just a little bit of touch of raw sugar or honey. This specific herb is the main ingredient in something called Narayana oil. That is an oil that is medicinal for Abhyanga, that's used for high vata dosha disorder and muscular weakness. So just deterioration of the body with high vata dosha. Some people are just deteriorating, right? Their muscles are fading away. They've lost their strength. So this would be a great oil. It's called Narayana oil, which you can buy already pre-made, and it's really powerful for just bringing athleticism and strength and kind of density back to the body. So this is very vata balancing. It also smells amazing. If you were giving yourself abhyanga, this oil really has a nice smell to it, really Indian, of course, and just really beautiful. And you can really connect with the herb through the abhyanga practice with the Narayana oil. Dandelion. Everyone knows about dandelion, and I'm going to get more into dandelion probably next month as we get it more into a little bit northwestern herbs. But dandelion is going to decrease pitta kapha, and it's going to aggravate vata dosha. And that just like makes so much sense to me. What is the, like, if I look at the dandelion, does that look like a vata dosha to you? It just cracks me up with the picture, because that's totally like vata type person. They're a dandelion floating away in the wind. So it just cracks me up that they would be they would be aggravated because of that. So detoxifying herb for pittas and clears toxins. This is a great tea to drink if you want to detox. I always recommend, hey, start drinking dandelion tea. It is specific for problems of the breast, mammary glands, breast sores, reduces tumors, cysts, suppression of lactation, and swollen lymph. It clears and cleanses the liver and gallbladder and dispels accumulated and stagnated pitta and bile. So it's really going to clear excess pitta. So that would be good. It's probably good in the summertime. It's going to kind of cool you down, sedate you. Amazing for detoxification from a meat diet and overeating of fatty and fried foods. So if you're ever doing a cleanse, like drink some dandelion tea. That would be great to pair with your cleanse. Another great way to drink or take dandelion is combining it with chicory root. Has anybody experienced with chicory? It's a really good alternative to coffee. Chicory, actually, this would be a great trifecta for replacement of coffee. chicory, burdock, and dandelion together would be like such an epic little like replacement kapha trio. As an anti-pitta beverage as well. So if you're really feeling pitta, really feeling heat, anger, this would be a good one for you. 1/4 ounce of each of these herbs can be simmered in a pint of water and take it for 20 minutes and take it 3 times a day with meals. So you could just drink it throughout the day, like you could just take shots of this if you wanted. That'd be really good for the pitta. Is anybody familiar with dandelion and like experimenting with it and taking it?
So does this also go in along with dandelion green, or is it just the root?
So this is just the root.
Okay.
But that's a great question. Dandelion leaves can be drank fresh and also dried as a tea. They'll also do really well. They'll do the same things, but if you were doing the blend like I'm talking about, I would do the root.
The root. Okay.
Yeah, because you would want to keep that like earthy, woodsy, and you can see these are other 2 roots, so you would want to do the root. Beautiful. Let's see. Okay. This one we all are familiar with is Gotu Kola. Did anyone get to know Gotu Kola since we've been working together? Or yeah, okay, beautiful. This one I love. Main revitalizing herb, forgot a T there, for the nerves and the brain cells. Increases intelligence, longevity, memory, and it decreases senility and aging. Fortifies the immune system, both cleansing and feeding it, and strengthens the adrenals. It's tridoshic, so you're not going to aggravate yourself drinking this or eating this, however you want to take it. The most spiritual and sattvic of all herbs, grows commonly in the Himalayas, used by yogis as a food for meditation. It awakens the crown chakra and helps balance the right and left hemispheres of the brain. So beautiful to connect with Gotu Kola and this enlightening aspect that it carries. Yes.
Is this safe to have every day?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have it every day.
I noticed it was really bitter, so I ended up like using the remainder of my leftover lemon ginger tea and putting it in there to kind of cut the bitterness in it. Well, that was really good. I wasn't sure if I could.
Did you buy like a tea of it?
I did. Yep. Is that the right one? Yes, I'm pretty sure I bought a tea of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be a little bit overwhelming with those tea bags sometimes, I think too. So you could always cut it in half and like do a half of it.
I think it was this one that I brought. Yeah, I bought it in a tea form.
Beautiful. So I have here that you can take a cup of Gotu Kola tea before meditation, or you can take 2 to 6 grams per a day of the dried herb. You can if you get to this, you could drink it as a fresh juice, and you could take 3 tablespoons a day. So if you're getting onto this level of like this master juicing Gotu Kola, you could drink it as a juice. We're going to talk about the different methods today of taking medicines, and juice is one of them. Not sure how it would taste. Would love to juice some Gotu Kola to see what that would be like, because there's the differences of taste with a tea and something fresh, so it'd probably be really bitter. Neem, who's experienced with neem before? Anyone ever used neem? Yeah, Mandy, what have you used neem for?
I've used it topically on a burn before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used it in Alaska as like a bug deterrent.
Yep.
Like neem oil type. Topically.
Yes. So neem is extremely powerful it's kind of like asafoetida, right? Or hing that we've been talking about. You don't want to overuse that. This isn't something like you would drink every day. Absolutely not. This is a short-term medicine, because it's so powerful. So this is the most powerful blood purifier and detoxifier in Ayurvedic medicine. It's going to cool the fever and clear toxins involved in most inflammatory skin diseases and those found in ulcerated mucous membranes. So yes, it's going to help clear a rash, Jenna. It's going to clear away all foreign and excess tissue and possesses a supplementary astringent action that promotes healing. It should be used with discretion where there is severe fatigue and emaciation. Now, there was in the Ayurvedic text that you could actually use this as a contraceptive. You could actually use this as a birth control. Well, I think they were using it like an oil that you would use during sex. I forget what those are called. Do you guys know what that's called? There's a word for those. Something kind of weird.
Contraceptive?
It's a contraceptive, yeah, but there's an actual word for some sort of serum or oil that you use during sex to kill semen. So that's how you would use it. That seems really scary to me. I wouldn't want to put neem up anywhere around up in there. But I guess they say that it works. So, I mean, it makes sense because this kills off bugs and any sort of fungus in your garden, right? Now, there's a famous herbal blend called Pankatikrita. Now, that is a medicated ghee. We're going to learn about that as well later, with neem in it. And they also incorporate 5 bitter herbs, and this is used for inflammation in the skin, and in the muscles and in the deeper tissues. So a grita is another type of medicine that you can make. It's a medicated herbal ghee, which they're really fun to make as well. I hope maybe one of you can pick that one as your herbal medicine project. I'm going to have 14 different things you can choose to make. Powerful insecticide, fungicide in the garden, spray and infusion on the plants for excellent organic results. And yes, it works. Yes, I use neem to manage pests in my garden. I just spray it. It smells kind of good. It smells different, smells very intense. And again, use only for short-term uses because it is so powerful. This is going to pacify pitta and kapha and aggravate the vata dosha. So it's also really good for, I'm sure you've seen this in the store, for any sort of oral health to keep bacteria out. You've maybe seen neem toothpaste, neem gum, like neem gum oil. Has everybody seen that? Neem toothpicks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's really going to keep the mouth clean, which I think is great to use too. So maybe you can buy some neem toothpaste just to experience the essence of it.
Jenny, is that short term also in your garden, or do you spray that pretty regularly?
Short term, well, the garden, you would do it in phases. You wouldn't be doing it every day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would do like a normal garden, like a normal garden schedule you would have for taking care of pests and stuff every,
All right.
Once a week or once every 2 weeks or something like that. And depending on, do you actually have a problem?
Right.
So that's important too.
Caterpillars.
Yeah, so this could work for caterpillars. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can buy it at the gardening store. Yep. So ashwagandha, we've talked about this many times, but we have to keep coming back to it. I want you all to remember that ashwagandha is so great for vata. Anyone who has high vata, ashwagandha is really going to be nourishing for them. And then also, if you live here in Southern California, this plant grows so well here. You don't even have to do anything to it. And it's just so magical that it just takes over. It's from Sri Lanka. which I guess has a drier climate, and that's where ashwagandha is derived from. So this teaches us that this super root, and you do use the root, you would not use anything else on the plant. You harvest the root. If you were to come into an ashwagandha's presence, you would rip it out, which is like they have deep roots and they're big plants. They can grow like into big bushes, basically. And you would use the root of this plant. This is the one that is the vitality of the horse. This is the masculine energy herb. It's going to boost energy and even the male libido. The best for Vata dosha for people seeking a warming, strengthening, and adaptogenic herbal remedy. For maximum tonic effect, it is taken with reproductive tissue building carriers. So let's say if a male is having like erectile dysfunction, the male could take this with a reproductive tissue carrier, which we call an anupan in Ayurveda. And those carriers can be anything with a fat, like milk, ghee, almond milk, honey, anything that's a substance that's going to transfer the medicine into deeper levels of dhatus in Ayurveda. We call these dhatus. These are the layers and the areas of the body that we can get deeper into with a carrier. That's why sometimes you might have heard, like, you know, the supplements, they don't get, you take a pill and like it doesn't even get absorbed correctly. And they say that if you take a medicine with, you know, if you're drinking a tea, you're drinking that water is diluted with the herb, right? You're drinking the medicine and it's going to go into your system right away. The supplements, you know, they can sometimes not absorb correctly, right? Maybe you take a capsule and it maybe dissolves halfway and you just end up pooping it out, and it's like you didn't even get that much of the nutrients. So these carriers can help. That's why sometimes you take medicine with food, right? Or you don't take medicine with food. It depends on the medicine, depends on the way that the energetics of it, right? It depends, how hot is it? How wet is it? How cooling is this herb? And we'll know how it digests. In this one, I have 2 recommendations, and there's a lot of ways to take these medicines, but you can take 3 to 9 grams of ashwagandha per day, which is the dried root, or 6 to 15 mLs of a 45% tincture. So you would want to see, if you bought a tincture of ashwagandha, you'd want to see the percentage of how much medicine is actually in it. Is anyone taking ashwagandha?
I was just going to ask, like, what do you think of like the pill form that you get from like your local health food store or something?
Yeah, I think that if that's the only way you can take the ashwagandha, are you taking it daily or is it for something specific?
It was on the recommendations, the herbal recommendations from our initial meeting.
Okay. Yeah, so it's for, I have to kind of,
I think it was like stress.
yeah, okay, I want to like kind of get to that. Where was that coming from?
Yeah.
So stress, yeah. So when remember how we talked about, we try not to take things every single day, right? Like you said, can I take Gotu Kola every day? Sure, you can. Do you need it every day? Hopefully not. It is a nice tea though to connect with, but it's not going to you know, deteriorate your health. But with the ashwagandha in the supplement, I'm always going to recommend outside of the supplement, and to connect with a tea or a tincture or something that's a little more, it's more, you can create a relationship with it versus a supplement. It's just, you put it in your mouth, you don't even taste it, and you wash it down. So anything that you can create a relationship, a deeper relationship with, but if that's not possible, if that's not convenient, then we have to just take the supplement or the pill.
I've been
But that's
taking the supplement. Oh, sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's
Yeah,
really,
I mean, I guess I do have a connection with it because you have to take it without food according to
yeah.
the bottle. So, you know, I have to make sure that I'm still fasting and I'm, not going to be eating for a while. And so I sort of have that connection to it.
Beautiful. Yeah, and
And I
you could
can
leave
tell
it
that it
on
gives
your
me
tongue.
energy.
Yeah, you could leave it on your, depending on if it's in a gel capsule or if it's just like a pressed pill.
Pressed pill, yeah.
Yeah, if it's a pressed pill, you're going to taste that more on your tongue. You're going to get an essence of it, get that pre-digestive effect we talk about in Ayurveda. We want that pre-digestive effect. If it's in gel capsules, maybe even opening it up a little bit. And we've talked about this. I think we talked about this in maybe one of the mushroom classes. You can even open the capsule a little bit and pour a little bit on your tongue and then take it just a little bit and then take the capsule.
When I have some mornings when I have excess energy, I know that it's working.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's why it's so beautiful, because it is an adaptogen. And it really is good for vata, anxiety, and just really warming and soothing and just strengthening the body.
Yeah, I definitely second that. I've taken your advice to use it when I feel like I need it. So now I actually do feel the effects of when I need it, that it is calming.
It's like, wow, I'm moving through something, a little bit of fear about the future, anxiety, worry is coming up. Okay, call on ashwagandha. Call on that it's like that ashwagandha has I like to imagine them as like these big masculine arms that are just like hugging you and kind of rocking you, like it's going to be okay. So see if you can maybe connect with ashwagandha in that way. And it's such a beautiful plant. Like if you look at it here, it's got these beautiful berries that are, it's just very like, it's very, it's just a beautiful plant. So remembering that that's actually what it looks like when you take it too, like, wow, this plant's really resilient. It's extremely resilient. I mean, it can survive in, coming out of a crack, it's kind of like, honestly, like dandelion. I've seen where I've planted ashwagandha, it's come out of places that I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know it was coming out over there. So it really will come out of nowhere. So it is really resilient, which resilient herbs and weeds are extremely, they usually have a lot of medicinal properties. Triphala, who's taken Triphala? No? Okay. Mandy, did you take it for regulating elimination? Yeah. Did it work for you?
Sure did.
Sure did. She was pooping every day at the same time. Good. Okay. So Triphala is great for everyone. It's tridoshic, VPK. This is another one that I guess I would pair it into the category with dandelion of, you can take this when you're cleansing. If you were doing a 3-day Khichdi cleanse or a 28-day Khichdi cleanse, you would take this at nighttime, at bedtime. It's very important. You want to let this medicine sit on your digestive system overnight to like soak it in. So I've known people to take it in the morning, but it works better if you take it at night. Now you can see here on the slide, I have the 3 berries or fruits that Triphala is made of, and they're really awesome because they sound just great. And it's Amalaki, Bibhitaki, and Haritaki. Those are the 3 fruits involved in making Triphala. I would suggest just buying it already made, but you can buy the powder already made. If you really have the time and you want to make this medicine on your own, go for it. But it seems like a more expensive avenue when you could just buy it made for you. I always recommend this to clients who are having difficulty in eliminating, like their elimination times. It's gonna help. If someone has diarrhea, it's going to stop the diarrhea. If someone is constipated, it's going to loosen the stool. So it's another adaptogenic medicine, somewhat like ashwagandha is, or mushrooms, right? They adapt to what's going on. We can go into each of the medicines. Amalaki has a cooling effect that manages pitta, supporting the natural functions of the liver and the immune system. Bibitaki is particularly good for kapha, supporting the respiratory system as well, kapha accumulations in all the systems. And haritaki, though having a heating nature, it's still good for all three doshas, vata, pitta, kapha, also known for its scraping effect, which removes toxins and helps maintain healthy levels of weight. So it's always nice to have something that scrapes, like mung beans or hing. Asafoetida does that as well, and haritaki has a scraping effect. So this, again, is great for cleansing. I say about a half an hour before bed, take triphala. You can steep, you can take the powder in a decoction tea, or you can take the tablets with a glass of warm water. So however you want to take triphala, there's different ways to take it, but as long as you take it for before bed, it's going to do its magic on your digestive system. And it truly does work. Any questions about triphala?
So I just actually purchased this from the place in Boulder
Yeah.
where the kitchery came from. And it was like in a ghee and honey form.
Oh, great. Rita.
I gifted it to my partner's mom, who has I think she's very vata pitta and has a really fast system. And I was kind of going through all the medicines, and she's interested. So so I'm glad you mentioned this, because I was like, I want to give you more information on how to use this. I was just reading it. I'm like, this sounds great for you, and I know for me too. So amazing.
Yeah, with the grita, she can take a spoonful of it, and it sounds so weird to drink, like it's basically like drinking butter.
Yeah.
It sounds very interesting, but once you get past that, like, this is different. This is not like how we do it over here. It isn't that bad.
Right. Cool.
Beautiful. What else do we have? Bring a Raj. Has anybody used Bring a Raj? Has anyone heard of that? Okay, so this one's awesome for your hair, health. If you do a Bring a Raj hair mask, David's like, wait, David, do you have hair? I can't tell.
I'm like, send it over right now.
Let's get you some Bring a Raj, David.
Send it to my door.
So this is the also tridoshic. This is going to promote the growth of head hair. It's most preventative to the aging process, which maintains and helps rejuvenative bones, teeth, hair, sight, hearing, and memory. It is decocted in coconut oil, and usually it is used externally for hot and heavy inflammatory problems such as headaches, sinusitis, alopecia, skin issues, and ear infection. This herb benefits heat problems. Great, like let's say you had a headache or a migraine, it would be so good to massage your head with this oil. Bringaraj oil is also famous for making the hair dark, luxurious, removing grays, and reversing balding. Let's get you some of this, David. 5 grams per day, or 5 to 15 milliliters in a tincture with 25%. So you could take it orally, but a lot of people will buy the Bringaraj oil. So we've talked about 2 oils today, the Nirana oil and the Bringaraj oil. One's for hair and head health, and one is overall Abhyanga oil body treatment for high vata. So good to note. If you're doing a retreat, you could do mini Abhyanga treatments for people. Everybody, it could be a workshop. Everyone uses this medicated oil together, and you teach how to do the Ayurvedic head massage, because there is a technique for that. So I was just thinking something for you, Jenna, that this could be a really great group activity to do Abhyanga oil massage or something like that for the feet, or whatever you choose. Holy basil, we've talked about this one before, but I have to always bring it up because it's such a beautiful plant. I just love it. Look how beautiful it is. It's got that nice purple, kind of petite but big. I don't know how to explain it. I have some growing. I have a few of these plants growing now, and they're just so beautiful. You don't. It's almost like I don't want to cook with them or make pesto with them. I really like to use them for medicine specifically, rather than like a Mediterranean like basil. You know, those bigger leaf, the thinner, bigger leaf basils. It's the most sacred plant of India. Its quality is pure sattva. Basil opens the heart and the mind, bestowing the energy of love and devotion. And you will see that in India, they will use this to devote to the Lord Vishnu or Krishna. It strengthens faith, compassion, and clarity. So everyone get a little Tulsi plant and put it outside your door. How cute. Gives protection from the divine by clearing the aura and strengthening the immune system. And it gives the seed power of pure awareness. So it's another one of those like cognitive enlightening herbs like gotu kola. A couple ways that we can intake it, as we can again take it as a tea. It's great with honey for promoting clarity in the mind. It can be used externally as a poultice for fungal infections and boils. So you could put the herb in like some cloth, right? In a hot cloth, and you could put it on top of the skin. Or you could drink as a fresh juice or use the root and seeds to clear kapha dosha. So you can see at the top that it's going to pacify vata kapha and it's going to aggravate pitta dosha. And I just love this herb. Has anybody used Tulsi or drank Tulsi tea? Yeah. Awesome. You can't really find the plants. I don't think you'll find the Tulsi plants like at your neighborhood gardening store. You might have to look online to see if you can somehow get one from somebody who has one, or you would have to buy the seeds. But they're definitely not like one that you could find in like a mini sprouted version. I mean, unless you have a really legit, like very diverse gardening store, but they're not just like the normal basil plant. I think that's important to remember. This last one,
Thank you for that, Jenny. You read my mind.
Oh, really? You were like, where do I get that?
You can buy the plugs. So like half like grown a little bit. This is the last place I worked at. We bought some plugs. I can't remember from where, but they'll mail it to you, and then you can just put them right into a pot or put them into the garden.
Okay, good
Amazing.
to know.
Yeah, and I so encourage you guys to create these medicine gardens if you have the space to. I mean, it's just so powerful to have a medicine garden and just so beautiful. And this one I feel like would be, you can have a whole Ayurvedic medicine garden with all the things that we've been talking about. So yeah, plugs. You know where I bet you could find that is on Etsy. Etsy sells everything. Etsy even sells mushroom spore kits and maybe plugs. I'll check on there and share it with you guys. So let's talk about the last one today, which is, has anyone heard of this? Baswalia. This one is an Indian frankincense. This one is tridoshic. It prevents the production of hormone-like substances in your body that act as triggers for joint inflammation. So this one is great for arthritis, inflammation. Anybody with, David, don't you have arthritis? Yeah, so this one's really nice. You can see in the photo, it's got really beautiful flowers. You would want to take the resin of this. So it's not really the easiest to get, I would assume. Has dual energetics of being both heating and cooling. It is heating due to its anti-inflammatory action. Frankincense has a long-term connection with the spiritual realm and religious ceremony. It is also used as a psychiatric and for mental conditions. Eases all types of pain, specifically arthritic and post-trauma, where there is inflammation and congestion. Energetically applied to cold and damp types of pain and swelling. used to hasten the healing of wounds, broken bones, and bruises, and opens the mind of the Anya chakra, the spiritual center connected with the pituitary and hypothalamus gland. You can take 3 to 9 grams of this resin in a decoction. So, however you can get this, I really recommend getting on Mountain Rose Herbs to check out a lot of these herbs.
That's where I got my my herbs from. Quick question: would this be good for something like fibromyalgia?
It could be good for fibromyalgia. The dosage I think is important though. You wouldn't want to overdo it. You want to find the exact dosage. I have 3 to 9 grams of resin in a decoction. So we would want to check on that. I'd love to check on the dosage for you for fibromyalgia and to see what other things the person is taking.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get into Ayurvedic pharmacy and medical preparations. So there's 14 medical preparations. We're not going to be able to get through all those tonight. I'm going to do 7 tonight because we've talked about all these herbs, but how do we make these different medicines? What are some cool new ways that we can start making medicine? Which I want you to, hopefully you get into this because I love this part of the course. But herbs are not readily assimilable in their raw state. They are usually processed to enhance absorption. So sometimes if we just eat a leaf of something, we're not getting the full effect. When we make it into a medicine, we're going to get the full effect, the full absorption. The form in which the herb is taken will greatly affect its potency and effect. So the first preparation is fresh juice. We talked about that. And next to each one, I have the Ayurvedic name of the type of medicine, the type of preparation. This is called Sarasa. This is a favorite method of administering juicy and aromatic plants such as aloe vera, tulsi, ginger, and brahmi. So things that are juicy inside. That makes sense why we would juice it, right? Aloe vera's kind of got like a jelly juice in it. Tulsi, ginger, brahmi. Herbal paste. This is called a kulka. These ones are fun to make if any of you choose this one. When a fresh and a whole plant is crushed, it makes a paste. So if we wanted to, maybe we wanted to do that with ginger and we make a ginger paste. This is usually used for external poultices and plasters. Dry material is mixed with water. So you could do a fresh plant and maybe it has a lot of moisture in it and you're making a paste. Or you could do some sort of a dried plant and mix it with a little bit of water to make a paste. That makes sense, right? You take a desiccated herb and make like a paste with it. Maybe you wanted to make like a turmeric paste or some sort of any kind of medicine you can make a paste with. The next one is herbal powder, which is a decoction. A dried plant is crushed, it becomes a powder. Ayurveda has many famous churnas, right? We've already made it. Hopefully, if you all made your own churna, that's a decoction. Triphala or trikatu. These are also examples. Powders are commonly used to treat internal imbalances and are prescribed twice a day. They are often mixed with carriers of ghee, honey, sugar, water, or milk. Powders contain high microbiological levels. It is prudent to add boiling water prior to use. So if you, like when we use the churnas, we're putting it in food, right? We're cooking it, we're heating it, we're adding a carrier to it, and it's gonna work better. A decoction, katva. Ayurveda makes very strong decoctions that are self-administered in the homes of India. The disadvantage is that they have a short shelf life. 1 part coarsely ground herb is added to 16 parts water by volume. This is reduced to 4 parts of the original volume of water. Store in an airtight refrigerator for a maximum of 2 days. Number 5, distilled waters, which is called arca. The collected, this is interesting, the collected vapors resulting from condensed steam. So you're collecting vapors. You can use aromatic seeds or delicate flowers that are often used to make these delicious herbal waters that are commonly used for skin and emotions. So have you ever heard of like flower essences? That would be an example. Hot fusions, which is called a fanta. These are delicate leaves, seeds, and flowers that are usually infused at a ratio of 1 part herb to 8 parts freshly boiled water. This brew is left to steep for up to 12 hours. These hot teas are used for vata and kapha problems. These are hot infusions. It's like a tea, but it's a tea. Hot and you, but it's a long sitting tea, so it's really potent. It's not like a tea that you make in 5 minutes. It's a really diluted tea. Or not diluted, potent tea. Not that word. Cold infusions. This is called a hema, used for steeping very delicate aromatic leaves and flowers and treating pitta disorders. 1 part herb is steeped in 6 parts water. This is usually done overnight when the cooling lunar energy is at its peak. So you could make something like rose water in a cold, that's how they actually make rose water, is they use a cold water. They put the fresh rose petals in the water and you let it seep overnight, and then you're going to get this this cool herby essence water. You could do it with any flower, actually, to be honest. You could put lilac, you could make lilac water, a lavender cold infusion. That's all I'm going to do of the preparations today, because there's a lot. Does this get anybody excited? Like just talking about this stuff? Are you like, wow, I want to try some of this. This is really interesting.
I definitely want to try the hot infusion, I guess, for the vata and kapha.
Yeah. You could do like a, like a cinnamon and clove and mustard seed. You could do a really heating one. And you know what I'll do is I'll give you guys some maybe ideas of what you could do. There was a mistake that I made. I meant to say churna right here, you guys. That's not a decoction, that's a churna. Herbal powder is a churna, which we've made our churnas. So we know that one. So don't choose that one for the homework. Choose something different that you can make with maybe your favorite Ayurvedic herb. You can, make one of these and have it to use. Maybe have it for something that you're actually going through right now. If you are experiencing, some sort of health challenge, you choose an herb that's going to help you, and then you decide how you're going to, what kind of preparation you're going to do. Any questions on this?
All the herbs can be prepared this way in the 7 or the 14.
Yeah, so you would want to decide which way you would want to make it and do some research. Look into the best ways that you could make it with that specific herb. Some of them I don't think you'll want to do. Like if you want to do an alcohol tincture, like you might have to buy a lot of things for that. It takes 6 weeks to create an alcohol tincture, which we'll talk about this next class as we go over the other preparations. But I think just choosing one from the 7 we talked about in the next 2 weeks would be really powerful to do and fun. Take a photo of it.
I'll try the Fanta, I guess.
You're gonna take the Fanta, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't
Fanta. Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
let's talk a little bit more about. I'm kind of bring everything back after all this information. Just a little more about the energetics about Ayurveda, the Ayurvedic herbs and energetics. Creation is light. I think that's so important. In the Vedas, the ancient scriptures of India, the great god Agni, the principle of fire, the divine seer, will, builds up the worlds and makes all creation a series of self-transformation. The proper use of a plant or herb during which its true power is released, implies a communion with it. The plant, when we are one with it, will vitalize our nervous system and invigorate our perception. Give value to a plant as something sacred, as a means of communion with all nature. That is also really beautiful, and it's making me cry a little. The force, the force is not received simply through ingesting the plant, but in our total communion with it. So while you're making the medicine in these till our next session, put on some really beautiful spiritual music, honor the plant, give it some healing energy, some Reiki. Maybe it's something that you harvested that's even making it more, meaningful for you. See if you can really connect with the plant, rather than just kind of like, oh, I'm doing my homework. See if we can really honor it, and in your own unique way. The seers let plants speak to them. So I think I put that on the top because I think that's so beautiful, that the seers, the Vedic sages, these spiritual masters, they were always in dialogue with the plants. They were always communicating. And to become a true herbalist, we must be sensitive to the being of the herbs, commune in receptive awareness with the plant light of the universe, and listen when the plant speaks. To speak to the plant as to another human being and look upon it as one's teacher. And that's what it really takes to become a true herbalist. And aside, next to all this is, can we be present with how we're consuming things, right? Can we slow the hell down and give space for the plant and allow it to truly heal us through our presence, through our present awareness? I feel like we should end this class today. Just a little share from everyone of what's going on for you that came up today in this session. How can you create more ceremony around your medicine that you take? I know all three of you are taking different medicines, different plants. How can we be more mindful around it and honor it? What comes to mind for you when it comes to that practice every day?
I definitely, oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Letting the plant speak to me definitely is something that spoke to me. And also, I think the establishment of my medicine garden, I had a very big garden last year that was mostly based around like vegetables, and I started a little bit of like an herbal garden. But I've already got like, check how ashwagandha grows in my zone and see if I can grow all these different herbs. So I think creating that ceremony of seeing the whole cycle will be really beneficial for me. I think that'll create that honor that those plants and herbs deserve, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what was speaking to me throughout this whole thing, was just establishing that healing garden.
Yeah. And so you're saying you'd like to do your due diligence and research a little more about what you can actually make happen there in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ashwagandha, I don't know. I'm doubting that, but
I think I could put it into a pot and then bring it into the greenhouse.
Yeah.
In the
Is
winter.
it dry where you live?
It is. It's relatively, it gets up to like 110 degrees during the summertime.
Okay. Yeah, that could be, it could. We can only know if we try.
Yeah, totally right. It could be better than I even could imagine.
Yes, that's right. I love that. So you're really wanting to cultivate just more intentionality around this medicine garden and just doing your homework, and that's beautiful. I love
It will
that.
just mean a lot more to me if I if I grow it, I watch the full cycle of it, and then also share it with someone who may need it for sure.
Beautiful. I love that. Thanks for sharing.
I think mine might be a little more basic. It's just having them in the house, and then just trying to honor them in the house, because instead of just cutting them apart real fast with the knife and the cutting board or whatever, just trying to honor it a little bit more, I guess. Think about it as I'm doing it.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
saying when you grab your herbs from your garden and just bring them in and start putting them in your food?
Yeah, I mean, well, most of mine are store bought. They would be store bought anyway, so I have to connect, I guess, a little bit more with them, bringing them home from the store, and
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
just having the association that they are medicine. They're gonna, yeah. I guess it's sort of like with the foods, right? Just have to practice it with the herbs also.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's hard. We eat like 2 to 3 times a day. Like how can we can't just drop everything and start, bowing to the food, right? And that would
I
be
made a cilantro basil pesto the other day with walnuts, and I
oh,
just I threw all that in the Vitamix and just blew it up, just
glue it up.
chopped it all up without any thought about it at all. So now I
Right.
gotta
Okay,
put a
yeah.
little more thought into it.
Yeah. Beautiful. I like to when I get all my food or wherever I'm at, like at the co-op or wherever it is you have, is the only place is the place you get your food. It's nice to just when it's on the if you buy food at a store and it's on the what's that
Checkout stand.
the platform or well they don't have them at Trader Joe's.
Not really. The
They,
checkout stand though.
yeah, they don't have the whatever they're called.
Conveyor belt. The conveyor belt.
The conveyor belt. That's not my preferable place to buy food, actually, to be with that energy of the food on the conveyor belt. It's very,
Mm-hmm.
it actually is not my preference of vitality when it comes to my food, but I also am, very picky and kind of, I want my food to come from like the closest source to where it's grown.
Mm-hmm.
But during that time, if that's the only thing I can get, I really like to just see if I can tap into a place of prayer in that line when I'm putting it down. It's like, okay, yes, I'm grateful. Thank you. Um, and then, of course, when you get to the house, when you're putting the food away in the house, it's also nice to be in a state of like silence or prayer and just like to feel the abundance of like putting food in your refrigerator is like, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, and so that can help, I think that can really help when we lose our presence in transition a lot. You ever notice how you lose your presence when you get in the car and you get in, it's like you go somewhere and you're like, how the hell did I just get here?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we lose our presence in transitions, and I think that happens a lot with our food connection too. If you were to go walk across the street and get eggs from somebody across the street, your presence would be more attuned because you're not getting in a vehicle. You just probably bought them from somebody you knew, and
Mm-hmm.
you've got this really high energy about that, right? Wow, I just got my eggs from across the street, and it's got more meaning.
I had
So
some locally grown fava beans this week. I just wanted to add that in from a friend's garden. I had some fava beans.
wow.
Delicious.
Did you listen to Prem's talk?
I did, yeah. Yes.
And he said the fava beans, yeah. Those are good for you, good for men.
I was glad to have them in the house. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we navigate through the convenience of the world, and we have to sometimes like it's like, damn it, I need miso paste. I've got to go in the grocery store. And so as we navigate through these food systems that are not quite the most peaceful, we can keep that peaceful energy alive within us, just with our demeanor and our positivity and our prayer that goes into the food. I think that's really important too.
I mean, I think I have I'm going to say a daily struggle when I'm at work and I'm running the register, and my mind does travel to, look at all this crap that people are buying.
I bet.
So I have this little bit of a struggle with my job right now and my mind and
Mm,
my own journey. Look at all this cardboard crap.
yeah, and Trader Joe's really they do a good job packaging and putting all sorts of interesting things in their food.
In boxes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that, that all that's coming up for you is really, it's actually really beautiful that that's kind of coming up for you,
totally.
honestly.
And hard.
And hard, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm sure Jenna can relate to some of those things that you're saying.
Yes, I actually also used to work at a natural grocery store, but I was always amazed at like the people who were vegans, but only were buying like all the processed vegan food. I would just be like wanting to have an intervention with what health was.
Oh, wow. Do you see that, David? Do you see a lot of vegans buying all what they think is healthy vegan food?
Absolutely. They're very excited about anything labeled vegan at Trader Joe's. Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, at work we have these like they're not vegan, but somebody was like, "Oh, they're 100 calories," and like we associate that with being like so healthy.
Hmm.
And they're like locally made Cheez-Its, but I was like, did you look at like the fat content and the sodium content? Like calories really mean nothing.
Right. The oils they're
Yeah,
using.
but that's so very like west of us. Like, oh, low sugar, low calorie. It must be really good for me.
Hmm. Yeah. Wow. Whew. Jenna, anything you want to share today? Just what's
Um,
coming up for you after this presentation?
yeah. So I'm so thankful for the timing of this. Right before I left Colorado, my roommate moved out, and she was very um she's probably extremely vata, which was tough for me, but she also has no idea of like keeping the kitchen clean. Like our refrigerator was such a mess and just like hordes of food and half-eaten food. And so this was like a big struggle for me to be trying to go on this path. And then every time I'd clean the kitchen, I'd come home and everything would just be messy again. Anyway, she like something divine answered my prayers and she got a job in Salt Lake and moved out last week. And my new roommate is very clean. So we decided that when I come back and I'm home right now in the Poconos, which is very grounding for me, I felt the humidity yesterday in the air and I was like, this humidity feels so good
Wow.
compared to the dryness out west. But yeah, so we planned actually to get a raised bed for our back patio. So I'm just envisioning just like you guys were saying of what I can put out there. And I know we're also gonna put like a little pollinator garden somewhere too, because I want to as well. I'm sure in some way in Ayurveda connecting to like bees and butterflies and just like nature itself is some kind of meditation. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes.
this all sounds good.
Yeah. So that's great that you said that. Because in the Earth Thrive program that starts on the 19th that you all are in, all my clients in my larger program get that. We're going to be talking about North American pollinators, pollinating plants that are going to just create this beautiful ecosystem for your garden. The one that's coming to mind for me right now for you is borage. Borage is an amazing pollinator and also is
Cool.
great for growing strawberries. It really pairs well with strawberries. Um, Strawberries have little white flowers, so bees,
Beautiful.
strawberries are great, and borage is an amazing pollinator. Um,
Yes.
so adding borage to your garden might be a good idea. It does get gigantic and it comes back every year, so just be mindful
Cool. Okay.
that you might want to put it like in the ground, not in your box bed, but
Okay.
Sounds like Mandy's grown borage before.
Or pot, like a
Okay.
pot that you can
Yeah.
kind of let it bloom out a bit. We had bees at five hives for a couple of years, and they love borage as well as raspberries.
Yeah.
Wow.
Borage and berries, they live together. So but borage will take over. It gets big if you give it the space. So
Cool.
a lot of things get really big if if you give it the space and you don't have to do much for it. But um I want to share lastly on the end of this call that the Earth Thrive program, if you haven't seen me marketing it, that starts on April 19th. I'll be automatically adding you to all those calls. And so that's included in the program with me in the bigger container. So you just instantly get access to that. And I would love you guys. I was trying to figure out, just wrote this down beforehand. I was trying to figure out like an affiliate thing where if you guys got a friend to sign up for that, I would Venmo you some money for that. But I'm trying to spread my wings and to get some help. If you have friends who are interested in Earth Thrive, because it's going to be a really immersive herbalism and wild food crafting program with gardening stuff too, and lots of recipes, lots of herbal recipes. So it's not a cleanse, it's not a detox, it's a lifestyle program, and it's everything that we've already been learning, but more. And I love how it's all really connected. It's like Ayurveda is so connected to gardening, right? Ayurveda's this whole class we were talking about Ayurveda, but we're talking about borage and strawberries, so it's all really connected. If you like Ayurveda and you want to live an Ayurvedic lifestyle, then you're connected to the earth. You really are. You are gardening, you are connecting with your food, and that's a lifestyle. And so it's more an educational lifestyle program rather than some sort of quick fix program. So I would love to, talk to any of your friends who could be interested. And I will try to figure out somehow to set up an affiliate thing. That might be a little too much for me, but um, if you do have a friend that you refer and they sign up and you let me know, I'll be more than happy to Venmo you a percentage. So yes, that would be awesome. And I want to thank you all so much for showing up tonight. What's happening next? I just want to recap what's happening next. Just so we're all on the same page. I think it's next week we have a bonus speaker. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's what I want to tell you guys. We have a bonus speaker. Her name is Caitlin Yates. She is not Paulina Passion Flower. That will be next month. Caitlin Yates is, interestingly enough, she is a plant medicine psychedelic integration coach. She's very well versed in all sorts of plant medicines, and I thought she would be a cool addition to this specific month where we're getting really into herbal energetics. The talk of the class is, what is the talk of the class? Something, I can't remember, but it's like awakening into plant medicine. It's something on those lines. I think it says on the Google invite that I invited you to.
Honoring sacred plant wisdom.
There we go. Yes, thank you, Mandy. Honoring sacred plant wisdom. And she does the coaching for clients and takes them through different ceremonies and journeys and whatnot, and how to prep for that and post and pre stuff for that. And so she's going to be sharing her wisdom about her work and mental health, I'm assuming, and different plant medicines. And I thought it would kind of just fit right in with this month. So that is next Friday. We'll have that next week. And then the week after that, we'll be back here together. And was there something else I wanted to share? Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, what time is it next Friday?
It's always at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Pacific.
Yep. So it'd be 11 a.m. Mountain Time.
Okay.
If you're going to be back in Colorado.
I'm traveling that day, but we do get Wi-Fi on the airplane, so it should be all right either way.
Oh, wow. Airplane time. Cool. That's devotion. I like
Just
it.
talk to you guys all over the world.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and I wish you all such a beautiful week and weekend coming up. And stay tuned to the Trello. I'm gonna update that now, upload everything, and see if you guys want to make some medicine. Okay?
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your
Thanks,
night.
guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.